Hey everyone, Rach Cox here. Yes, for those of you who've noticed, I cut myself a fringe. I'm feeling very nostalgic. About 1980s, mid 1980s, Talbot Grove, Loretto Convent, Marrickville. I used to cut myself a fringe every fortnight. And I decided to do the same again yesterday. I just realised that I've got a massive cowlick though, and also that the rest of my hair's too long and I need a haircut to even it all out. So I rang the hairdresser and I completely forgot that it's actually stage 4 lockdown, so no one's open. So I'll just have to wait. Another thing is I need to take some more blossoms. I'll have to go for another walk in the morning. It's looking a bit worse for wear. Right, so hopefully you've been meditating and you've found some nice meditation tracks online and some nice meditation teachers, and you're becoming more aware of yourself as an energetic being, not just a physical being, and so becoming more aware of physical signs in your body as well as awareness of things, people around you, triggers, old belief system, patterns, that kind of thing. So you can work on transmuting that, becoming the magician, transmuting the lead to gold, the negative into positive. That's what we're here to do, just raise our vibration. So today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about perception. I'm going to call this video, It Is What It Is, because as humans we like to label things. So if something happens, we're going to label it good or bad based on our belief system, and our belief systems are made from a number of things, from our families, from our schools, from our communities, our friends, where we grew up, so many things, whether those, and they're just beliefs, they're not truth. So what I'd like you to start doing is looking at things that happen to you, not in terms of good or bad, but in terms of, oh, this has happened. It is what it is. What can I do with it? What is it trying to teach me? It's neither good nor bad. Wayne Dyer said, change the way you look at things and the things you look at will change. And it really is as simple as that. As a human, you have the choice. You have a choice whether to see something as good or see something as bad or see something as it is what it is. What am I going to do with it? If I'm feeling negative and angry, how am I going to transform that energy so I can feel more positive and uplifted by this experience, even if it's very uncomfortable? So perception is a massive thing, and things happen not to us, but for us to grow. The universe always has your back, and you're never sent anything you can't handle. So, obviously the story of my life over the last few years has been the separation of what was on the whole a long and beautiful and very happy marriage. Last 4 years, challenging, yes. Obviously because I've had a massive spiritual awakening, so therefore things change. And, there were things in our marriage that I wasn't happy with and weren't able to be transmuted. And it was a question of, what did I want to experience in my life? Did I just want to experience being married? Because that's all I know. I've just been with the same person since I was 16. Or did I want to experience something else? It's not good or bad. It's my choice. And the whole idea of perception is huge as to how I will transition through this experience. With both of us, we agreed that we would try and make this as amicable as we possibly could. Obviously, it's had its challenges. I'm not going to lie. But it was our hope that through this experience that we could actually remain friends and have a lovely friendship because we didn't want to lose something that was a love that was just so profound. And it was a soulmate union, probably a karmic contract, which we can get into later. And, probably the ends of lifetimes that we've been together. But we wanted to do this for the sake of our children, of course, because we had a beautiful family, an amazing family, and we still do, but our family's just going to look different. So even through this massive big change, the way to get through it in a peaceful and harmonious way is choosing to do so. Now, the challenges that come up are opportunities for the soul's growth. So again, when things do pop up, it's either you react from a place that it's a learned belief, a reaction to something. And if you react the same way all the time, which is not in love, it's with anger or hostility or rage or whatever, that's not a great place to be. So that energy has to be transmuted. Do you know what I'm saying? So even though this situation to some would be just the end of the world, it's not. It's all the way you look at it. So I want to encourage you to look at things differently. If it's a situation where it really is bothering you and really is challenging, and your reaction is one that's not in line with source energy, which is, the energy of love, then you need to change that. You need to transmute it. So I want you to sort of end the cycle of looking at things as good and bad, and just come with a much more open view of it is what it is. How are we going to navigate our way through this easily and with grace? Because some things you just can't change. I'm not talking about things that you can. And actually, COVID is a perfect example of that. And being in this lockdown, we can choose. It's a choice. It is what it is. The Victorian government has said we're going into lockdown again for 6 weeks. It's for everyone's health and safety. Not only in Victoria, but the whole of Australia and probably the world. Sure, it's not a great situation, but it is what it is. None of us can change it, right? So how are we going to get through it? Are we just going to bitch and moan for 6 weeks? No, we're not, because that's going to affect our energy. And when I bitch and moan and I'm horrible, that energy actually permeates out into my house and causes everyone else to bitch and moan and be horrible. What's important is you get some incense, burn some, light some candles. Wow, we've got 6 weeks together. What are we going to do? I mean, whoever gets 6 weeks, I've got to be honest, and I know everyone's situation is different because, people are still working from home and they've got children, and or there might be someone who's just by themselves. And I am mindful and aware that everyone's situation is completely different. But 2 nights ago, I did see an episode of The Project, which is an Australian program here, and it was talking about the age bracket 18 to 24, and the struggle with mental illness. And as you know, from what I've said prior, I've had 2 children with anxiety and depression, and a husband with anxiety and depression. And it's hard to, and I've had postnatal depression. So, it runs through my family. And so I'm aware of how bad that is. And I'm aware of being in that situation and how important it is to perceive it differently. And I know it's harder for people who have mental illness already in their psyche to get themselves out. But, this beautiful girl was interviewed, and I really felt for her, and she was saying how she didn't have access to the internet, so she couldn't study, and she was getting all worked up. And it was like, well, okay, there are things to do other than study and use the internet. I mean, we just didn't have it in our day. So use it as an opportunity to do something else. Push yourself, like read, go out if you've got a garden and plant something, get your hands dirty, draw if you've always wanted to draw, or paint, or sing, or write a song, or learn an instrument. I don't know. There are lots and lots and lots of things to do. Change your mindset of, actually, I've been given a wonderful opportunity to sleep in. My friends will know I like to do that. I'm fortunate that I have 2 children who are fairly self-sufficient. I mean, one is in year 12 and he needs a bit of prodding. And it's hard for him and horrible, because not only has he got learning difficulties and he needs that support from school, but it's the second lockdown in the final year of his school, which can be devastating or can be great. So what I would like you to do is try, I know it's hard, but just try and look at it differently. Try and see it as an opportunity. Like Rem came running out yesterday, he's my son, 18, and said, Mum, next week we've only got 3 weeks left. And he was quite upbeat about it. Like he wasn't sad and devastated and going, oh my God, we've got 3 weeks left. It was like, we've only got 3 weeks left. That's cool. That's good. So do you see what I'm saying? It's like, yes, a marriage breakup is diabolical. It's huge and it impacts so many people. But it's your perception of it that will get you through more peacefully. One thing I did ask for at the very beginning was space. And I know now why I needed it. I said I needed 3 years. That's a very long time. We'll go into that a little bit later. But it's that knowing and listening to your intuition, and time does heal all wounds. It does. It's true. If you give yourself time and you give yourself space, if that's what you really need, then it will come to a more stable ground that you can work from. Our number one priority is, of course, our children and keeping the family unit together, even in its current form, even though it's different to what it was before. And yes, there will be challenges, I'm sure. But as years go by, it'll get easier and easier and it'll all be okay. So, you can perceive this as the worst thing that can ever happen to you in your life, or you can perceive it as the best thing that's ever happened to you in your life. I have to be honest, it's so gorgeous on this journey. Like, a lot of women that I told said, oh, congratulations, that's awesome news, you've got a whole new world ahead of you. Like, what a beautiful way to look at it. Like, instead of like putting a downer on it and a dampener on it, it can be an exciting new adventure, and you can have a nice relationship with your ex. It's possible to do that. It's all perception. You don't have to listen to the nonsense. You don't have to, just because that person had a horrible experience doesn't mean that you have to. Why don't you take the lead and have a really nice, beautiful, peaceful and amicable experience through it? One where you can learn and grow together. There might be periods you need to be further apart while you work things out, but that's okay. So yeah, I want you to concentrate for the next couple of days on changing your perception. So looking at it as if I will never get this opportunity again to actually have, well, let's hope, fingers crossed, that I'll have 6 weeks where I can actually be at home. And I mean, it's been a godsend for me. The last 6 weeks we were in a 2-bedroom apartment. So I had just had 3 rooms and 3 of us in it. And it was pretty diabolical. Now, thank God, within that tiny little frame between that one and this lockdown, we managed to rent a house and get our stuff out of storage. And I have been painting like a maniac. Rem came down the other day and goes, oh my God, you've painted everything in sight. I have completely transformed this property even though I'm renting it, I have to have it nice and neat, and it's just coming along so well. I can't wait to open the doors so you can all come in and have fun. But yeah, so perception, like, I'm grateful that I've got beyond this computer masses of boxes, but I'm grateful I've got the time to actually go through them all. Finally, after 30 years and so many moves and so many places, now is the time that I can go through each and every one of them, donate or throw out or put out. Like, it's a blessing. See this lockdown as a blessing. Try to see this lockdown as a blessing, just so we can all get through it a little bit more peacefully. And also, just before I go, if you do know anyone that's in that age bracket, 18 to 24, and they are by themselves, or they live out of home and they don't have parents, or their parents are somewhere else, give them a call. We've got a lot of time on our hands at the moment, so reach out to those that are like that, so they know that you're there. So especially if you're doing okay, but just be mindful of other people that may not be. So we're going to meditate, we're going to become aware of our energy bodies, and we are going to perceive this lockdown differently. Yeah, God, we're going to come out of this like the butterflies. We're going to be flying like the butterflies. Let's just look at this lockdown like we're in the caterpillar, like in the, there's a caterpillar and then they go into the cocoon. So this is our cocoon stage, and then we're going to come out the other end like these glowing, amazing butterflies with these huge, amazing, colourful wings. Awesome. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about next time source energy and being in flow. I was sort of inspired this morning about talking about my dad and being an architect and a lover of the light. So yeah, we'll do that next time. But until then, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at will change. Lots of love.